हॅलो. बर नाही इकडे गडगडतंय फक्त. बर किती वाजता? बर नाही एक आहे पण बघतो मी ते. हो हो तेच.
Good afternoon, Hiren.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ravi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ravindra Tulsyan. So just wait for another 1 minute and then we'll start. All right, so I think we are good to start. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning, in fact, everyone joining from all parts of the world. Welcome to the season 6 of the SCM Talk Show. Thank you so much, first of all, everyone, for showing us support for all the 5 seasons earlier. So this year and this season, the 6th season, we are having a theme of digital AI and more technology oriented SCM, how the world is evolving. We are hearing a lot about AI coming into the picture, what it can change, how it can do things. So we're going to hear it from all the horses' mouths from different sectors of supply chain. We're going to try and cover different areas like logistics, procurement, planning across the 8 episodes that we are going to run. So stay tuned with us. Follow us on LinkedIn and on YouTube for updates on the speakers to for the next dates and everything. So with that, I'll hand it over to the host of the show, Mr. Ravindra Tulsyan.
Thank you so much, Nistush. Really exciting that, we have reached to episode, sixth version, sixth season of this show. I think so 5 seasons passed. That means we have connected about 40 sessions. This is the 41st. So good afternoon, everyone. And I hope you're enjoying all the our SCM Talk Show. First episode of 6 that what Nistush says, as this is again focused on AI in supply chain. AI has become a very hot topic, and everyone wants to know how AI will impact supply chain. So the title of this episode is The Age of Human-Machine Collaboration, which includes AI, automation, analytics, and its future in supply chain logistics. So this is the topic today. So topic have been chosen very carefully with a lot of feedback from all of you and extensive experience of our guest speaker. I need not mention, but let me repeat that this, as usual, this session will be recorded and made available for free on KnoWerX mobile app that you may have, or the KnoWerX YouTube channel that you can use. For the purpose of organizing it properly, we have put everyone in listen-only mode. So while the talk show is going on, you can submit your question in chat box. We are monitoring the chat box, and we will take questions from there when time permits, and we will answer your queries. So let me start this episode by saying it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Hiren Dave. So a little bit about Mr. Hiren Dave. He's a head business development, life sciences and healthcare at DHL Supply Chain. So everyone knows DHL, how big it is, but there is a special focus on life sciences and healthcare. So I think DHL is a company engaged in transportation, logistics, supply chain, storage services. I need not say a lot about DHL. I think everyone knows about DHL. So he has 22 years of experience in supply chain management, logistics, and operations. And the previous roles, very interesting. He has served as senior manager logistics of supply chain for Roche, as manager C&F operations supply chain management at Novartis India, and assistant manager supply chain management at Torrent Pharma. Right. So a lot of pharma background he has in terms of education. I think he's BE from chemical engineering and MBA operations and finance from Symbiosis Center of Management and Human Resource Development, SCM HRD. He has successfully completed prestigious leadership and management program from leading global organizations like DHL Supply Chain, Roche and Novartis, strengthening his expertise in consultative sales, leadership development, and cross-functional team management. And he has also completed he has also completed the management development program in logistics and distribution management from the IIM Mumbai, further enhancing its capabilities in supply chain and operations management. So, it's my pleasure to invite Hiren for this talk.
Good afternoon, good evening, and even good morning, and if other parts of the world. Thank you, Mr. Ravindran, KnoWerX, and everyone for this invitation. And it's pleasure to have this talk with you on this vast and dynamic topic. I'll try my best to do this as justice based on my experience throughout my life and experience in these organizations. I would just like to add up, interestingly, if anybody has noticed, World Economic Forum is launching a framework exactly on this topic. So I think kudos to everyone who contributed on this topic, and I've looked at more and more conversations happen. It is available on a website of World Economic Forum. Next month they are launching this framework, how the the supply chain evolution, the supply chain you can say fraternity will have to cope with the future ahead on this area. So it's a great coincidence that even World Economic Forum is recognizing this as an area of interest for a future to happen. So look forward to have this conversation, and thank you once again.
So thank you very much, Hiren, for accepting our invitation. I know that you are a very busy man. I mean, I think everybody in supply chain logistics is a busy man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. So, but I think you have a very important role to play at DHL, and so thank you so much for coming in. And in fact, we would like our listener to listen to practice oriented, not theoretical, not
Exactly.
from somebody who's trying to sell us technology or sell a solution. So they little overhype the reality.
Yes.
So we would like to learn from horse's mouth.
And I'll
Yeah.
try to be as grounded as possible in this, because it's very important. We should not be driven under the jargons, and the reality is reality. So look forward to conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So my first question, the supply chain industry is rapidly adopting AI, automation, as well as advanced analytics. So from your perspective, how do you define the future of human-machine collaboration in supply chain logistics?
I mean, it reminds me of one good anecdote. In 1903, Michigan Savings Bank, one of the director, quoted saying that horse is here to stay, but the automobile is novelty. It's a fad. And he was advising someone not to invest in the Ford Motor Company. So if you see the corollary to the question, both horse is also here and humans are also here, and automobile is also here. So but all are into different utilities, different contexts. They are benefited. So to answer your question, the corollaries between human and machine is also going to be the same. As we see the macroeconomic fundamentals or demographic, which is changing at one side, and if you focus on countries like India, which is having a high population, labor intensive work is at one side of the spectrum, which is still need to be honored and thought about in the larger economic context. At the same time, we have a strides in technology, AI, and automation. So both will have to coexist. While it happens, so it will evolve a lot of skill set. It will evolve a lot of work area into this phase. So for me, both will evolve and coexist as we have seen over the centuries as human civilization has progressed. Human and machines coexisted, and it will continue to coexist in that way. So from the supply chain area, we have seen in our lifetime that from a traditional manual driven supply chain of 80s and 90s, and sir, you have been into the forefront of education in this field, to now where we are, where planning, robotics, and automation are reality. So I think it will coexist in that way.
Great. Thank you so much. In fact, today I'm in a different attire because of some function at home. Otherwise, anyway.
Yeah.
So actually, this fear, when we start talking about computers and software, this was always there that we are going to lose job, and same fear is there with AI. So many professionals fear that AI and automation will replace me, will replace my job, I'll have no job. So in your view, how will technology reshape supply chain roles rather than eliminate them?
I mean, just a previous example, horse is here and automobile is also here. So, and if you still go back to the computer industry, industry of the computing, so to say, if we have to take some example from there, 40, 50 years is a reasonable period where we started adapting computers. And now where we are, even computers are also there and humans are also there, and they have not taken us for a ride, neither either side. So that way, I will see both getting, evolved together in a right skill set. But at the same time, let us accept some of the reality, some of the areas and functions in our role or in our fraternity. I have seen in my career, many of our audience, and you have seen that if it is a repetitive, it is a logical task, so to say, uh, where machine can perform it better, will replace. I mean, let's accept that, or you can say low skill work will be replaced. So is it to be feared? No. I mean, in that way, you have to adapt, probably learn how you can survive or you can upgrade yourself. I have seen myself from a typical Excel or even a manual driven way. I have seen some of the seniors adapting and surviving into the industry by learning and adapting for this thing. So fear is not unreal, but you have to manage and face that fear through upgrading yourself, upskilling yourself, and training yourself. I mean, you think of a banking industry. I remember many of your relatives and our family members might be in banking in 80s and 90s.
Absolutely.
And then early 2000, when tech started entering into the banking, VRS was the most sought after word because most of them were not able to manage it or cope up with that speed. But at the same time, we have seen the new blood, young people, probably my generation and the generation after, entering and probably banking. What we see is a completely different world. So similar is the case with our fraternity in supply chain as well. We have seen some functions getting reshaped, but humans are still managing those functions and driving this with the better skills.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think I remember, there was this public application which affected the entire country, was railway reservation. It was done by CMC. And that time, everybody was so scared that once these computers come in, all these, reservation clerks, the staff
Correct.
will be eliminated. And today, after, I don't know how many, 30 years or 40 years, the reservation system has been up and running. If you count number of staff, I think it will be more than earlier, not less, right? And similarly, in banking also, as you rightly said, in banking, people were so afraid. I remember unions were on strike.
Exactly.
That, please don't computerize, otherwise our jobs will go.
Jobs will go.
But if you really look at it, number of staff in bank would have gone up, not gone down.
Up.
Not
Exactly.
gone down. And
Exactly.
initially, I remember people used to type on computer like this, one key by one key, one key by one. But after some time, they got used to it.
Used to it.
So I think,
Exactly.
yeah, as you rightly
Correct.
said, you have to upgrade your skills. If you upgrade your skills, you are all right.
Yes.
You don't have to fear. Absolutely.
Correct.
So my next question is specifically on your role, what you have seen across, healthcare, pharma, logistics. What is your experience has been with organizations like DHL, Roche, Novartis? What is the transformation? What change you have seen over, let's say, last decade or maybe 2 decades?
Let me go back, and this will be all real examples, no jargons. I'll tell you, and these are all real ground transformation. I'm sure this is my experience, but I see on the call people from a different industry, different domain, also there, and I'm sure everybody will have that story. And I think these stories are itself is a transformation which I have witnessed, or I was part of it directly into it. So even starting with as basic as utilizing Excel to the best, which itself is a transformation. Sometimes using Excel to the fullest itself transforms you and your work probably. So I'm sure everybody will have that experience in that way. But if I give you some concrete examples, in supply chain transformations and how technology and humans, work together in my early or rather first organization. It was much ahead of time in pharma, and particularly typically in oil in supply chain. What is the fundamental is the right stock availability, the right time, in the right quantity, in the right place. And in our case or industry of pharma is the right quality. The fundamental was that can we move away from a typical month-end skewness, typical use of human intervention in the order management kind of so and so thing. So at that time, organization thought, and I was lucky to be part of that initiative. What we did as a transformation using a technology is to auto replenishment of the whole order cycle. There were specific tech. I'm talking about early 2000 or mid 2000, where the distributor in state of Gujarat, Karnataka, Rajasthan, because these are all big states for the organization which I worked, we implemented a patch in each distributor software with consent of security and assurance that we will only take the data of our company, not anyone else. It was thoroughly tested, validated, and then we started fetching the data. It used to put into a standard format. Typically, if you see in our industry, we say if your customer is in the city, then there is a formula or multiplication factor of 1 minus your closing stock, and if it is your outstation, factor of 1.5 into sales minus your closing stock. Ideally should be your inventory, which should cover your demand as it goes, and obviously there were exceptions in place. So that was the earliest exposure to the transformation. The whole cycle was automated for the supply through distribution point to the distributor, and which was much ahead of the time, and it worked very well in the states for many months in those times. If then I move to the next transformative experience was at that point in time, regulation allowed direct to patient. My experiences are more in terms of this, but it can apply to other industry also. And there are other experiences as well that we used to send direct to patient. There were no intermediaries because these products were oncology, transplantation, high value. We did not want anybody interference. So, but since they are high value and it is a direct patient billing, the revenue recognition was the key. Unless you recognize your revenue, you cannot give the stock. And many a times patients were far in remote area where company did not have a distribution point. And how do you handle this situation where patient is in need of medication? There is a dosage, there is a cycle of acute or chronic therapy medication. One much ahead of time where IVRS was not heard in this. I was part of that initiative through a conceptualization, through the implementations, very successful implementation that patient places order online, uses online mechanism. I am talking about 2008, 9, 10. In those time, places order online, uses payment mechanism online through their bank, through their card, through the mechanism, and then once payment is realized, confirmed by our customer service team, the medicine used to be dispatched. So this was a very interesting example. Patients were like really happy in the remote villages and towns where we used to supply. And it was a classic example of adapting a new technology which people were not aware, and it ran for many years till I was there and even after me leaving that organization. If I move forward, then we have examples, and in the interest of time, I will little bit still give you the flavor of those transformation. Typically in any organization in supply chain or in the distribution, we have a whole payment collection cycle, and typically we have a check cycle. Much ahead of the curve in my another organization, we implemented completely checkless distribution. So there was a mandate which was aligned with the distributor, hospital, organization, and the bank. And then there was a mechanism, online mechanism was put to intimate that your payment is due, so and so invoice is due, so and so amount will be debited from your account on so and so date. And then that mechanism was, the whole cycle is of a change management, technology acceptance, and then moving to the more and more compliant mechanism was implemented in that organization. And as you move further, we have examples of warehousing automation. We have example of using ERP systems much to the best of their, you can say, abilities. Then we have tertiary and secondary data system implemented where the real sale is only seen in the secondary channel and tertiary channel. Otherwise, it is just a push, for example. And the cases where we have also have online orders from the distributor and then directly feeding into the ERP system. So these are some of the example I have witnessed in the supply chain transformation. Having said that, in my current organization and even in my industry experience, the other industry, my experience is predominantly well into the pharma world, but there are industries like retail, technology, FMCG. They're much ahead in terms of many transformative experience like point of sales visibility. You know, the rep or sales guy used to have that point of sale device, and then it used to kind of link, like classic case study we all study in our management is eChopal, where the transformation really helped the end consumer as well as the real seller, and intermediaries were not there. So these are all interesting and real life use cases of technology and human collaboration. Ultimately, it was human brain which implemented, and the technology became the bridge for this kind of transformation. And this has impacted real way in terms of patient experience, in terms of revenue recognition, in terms of inventory visibility, in terms of your customer cycle management, or even product life cycle management through reducing expiries products. So yeah, these are all real life my examples of using intervention of technology.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I have seen a lot of such changes also during my consulting career. Now
Correct.
Coming to AI,
And just to add, the whole idea of, I'll just add, the demand planning, forecasting itself has also gone through a huge change in terms of which I have seen from a typical Excel based to a ERP driven to IBP driven. Now we are really introducing AI based tool into the whole even planning mechanism. So yeah.
Right. So actually, exactly that is what my next question was. So today organizations are investing heavily in predictive analytics and AI-driven decision making. So how companies strike the right balance between human judgment and machine intelligence?
I mean, as with all, there is no one size fits approach. I mean, every industry, every function in whole chain will use their own situational implementation, basically, sir. So if you see from a, particularly if we stick to, let's say, supply chain as in fraternity, from a balance in all our previous conversation, you see the technology was there, but it was all driven by human. So even if now the right balance will be how you define your need, how you define your next level of improvement, be it, as I said, the planning or forecasting was the classic case where human wanted a right forecasting mechanism, and then we evolved the tools to manage it. But at the same time, human intervention through SNOP processes, through conversations with your sales team, through your real life insights to a secondary, tertiary visibility remained. And then how you process that data is all about human judgment, basically. So if, and at the same time, so basically your skill set has to be upgraded. I mean, there is no denying it. You cannot continue the way it is. For me, even I learn now in my current role or in my previous role where, and then you use human judgment whether, yes, this tool, this technology is really benefiting me, this benefiting organization or not. And then it will go out to every level of hierarchy where you want to use human judgment to take a decision. You want to use human judgment for a, let's say, people selection, for a conflict resolution. So few areas will still remain driven by a human elements, it like a relationship or a conflict resolution or a role assignment, and how you use technology as a tool. That will be, or machine as a tool, or AI as a tool, rather than AI, dictating you. So that's all, and that's why you have to go back to your fundamental. I mean, first of all, make sure that fundamental remains clear. Good to have, must to have is defined by human judgment only or human intelligence only. Machine will not tell you. It will offer you this can be done, this cannot be done. It is up to you to choose what is right for you. So that is what my submission to this question basically.
Thank you. Thank you. So, as you rightly said, automation improves efficiency, speed, accuracy, but supply chain still requires a problem. So, in your opinion, which critical skills will remain uniquely human in future supply chain workforce?
I think partially I've answered into the previous point. But for me personally, right or wrong, only time will tell. The human-less supply chain, I cannot imagine. As long as we need to move from A to B, we need to make sure things are in right place, in the right time, in the right quantity. The human still will have to intervene because, as I said in the previous answer, there are conflicts, there are judgments, there are decisions to be taken. So if you see, fundamentally for me, the people management skill will remain still critical. And when I say people management, it encompasses communication, the way we are doing right now, or way the member of the audience or anyone does in their organization. You still need to network, you still need to know each other. And fundamentally, it's all about then relationship. While machine and tools are there, the whole technology as the ecosystem is there as a tool, but still it's human which we have to do. Who will decide the strategic trade-off? Who will decide intuitively what decision to be taken? So for me, it's a fundamentally that people management, networking, relationship as a skill will still remain very much there as a leader, as a be it a leader or be it any level. I mean, you go bottom up or you go down, top down. This element remains going to be there.
Absolutely. Relationship building and human skills can't be replaced. So my question next is to be more specific. How do you see AI and automation transforming warehousing, transportation, and last mile delivery? These three areas in next 5 years, let us see.
I mean, as I said in the beginning, this is a very, very dynamic. There are a lot of moving parts. In all our lifetime, we have seen typical, and let us start, let's say, from planning, for example, from a typical Excel to AI based to now tools like IBP available have evolved the whole planning and forecasting roles for that matter. Similarly, you go to the warehousing piece. From a typical, and everybody knows, and every industry has a different set of requirement, particularly in industry where I come from. You are talking about medicine, you are talking about storing medicine. So warehousing per se needs to be complied to the requirements to store that. Ultimately, it's all about human consumption. So from a standalone shed-like warehouse to now state-of-the-art warehouse, which are fully temperature controlled, is one way of transformation. Now within that, we have a tech which is already available. We have concept of ASRS, which is now up and running. We have concept of robotics, which are now up and running. We have concepts of monitoring your real-time temperature or real-time inventory You have a location mapping kind of a technology which are now there, but it is also evolving fast. What next is the answer? Can there be a manless warehouse? Possibly in some industry, in some case, completely if the logic is fed into that, you will see only humans are monitoring rather than actually doing the pick pack or the blue collar jobs, and then using only the high value high skilled job into the warehousing. So you can say mobile robotic solutions which are happening, and in some cases companies like us are really piloting into some parts of the world, in some parts of the industry, like technology, like medical devices. We have digital twinning, we have predictive maintenance, which is going to be there as and as more and more automation will be there. There will be predictive maintenance, which will be there. There will be dynamic slotting kind of a technology, which is going to be coming up. And you have a set of mechanism in your WMS, which is define your warehouse automation, basically. So this piece is evolving in a very fast pace. Similarly, you talk about transportation. I mean, we are already seeing now the real-time visibility in case of pharma and FMCG kind of a setup. We have temperature tracing, monitorability. Now we are talking about dynamic route optimization. We are talking about autonomous and platooning trucks. Basically, we are talking about predictive emissions, because sustainability is now real situation. Everybody wants it to be really useful in terms of their commitment to the environment. So all this is going to be there. You have vehicle which is be a much technology enabled through from a algorithmic dispatching, so to say, which is being kind of piloted, or we are talking now. And micro fulfillment, we are using or piloting some of the, you can say, micro warehouses concept within us now, and we are seeing whether it can be a future for or not. And everything has to be obviously safe and secure under the safety net, because technology has a very you can say naughty or nuisance habit of becoming unsecure, and that's why we have to be sure there are enough firewalls or structures are in place. So I'm still covering a part of it. There is a lot more. More you know about a lot of things which is happening in this space. And you take a gamut of industry. Every industry is evolving in a different way. The service sector is evolving in a much different way. Like we are banking at home. The industry like us is evolving. So both service taker and service giver are adapting to complement each other's requirement.
Right. So all these, I think, all these require data, right? And we have been facing challenges with data, I think, for many years. So data has become the backbone of the supply chain. So what challenges do your organizations face in building a data-driven culture, and how can leaders overcome them?
So as they say, data is a new petrol, but at the same time, it is also overload is the main challenge. Data, as the data name suggests, it's data. It's huge in number, and it creates a data overload challenge basically. And as a leader, as in my work, in my previous work, we used to create a process or system which actually converts or filters that basically. Fundamentally, data itself is not useful, and more so if it is a fragmented, it is a poor quality data, it will lead to some of the chaotic situation in your organization. So in your function, in our supply chain function, be it a data on the sales, be it a data on the order patterns, be it a data on the your demand visibility, if it is not properly analyzed and used to the tool, it will create a lot of chaos. So I have seen in my experience, and we are using it here, is that are we starting small in terms of experimenting or piloting that, yes, this is worth in terms of implementation of a data, and then scaling back, scaling up based on the subject, based on the need to have data requirement, and then creating a environment, let's say data-driven meetings, let's talk only data, no human judgment for that matter. For example, can the data help us? And then human judgment will come as a later point in time. Can we have that culture which is, going top to bottom also, that yes, data is using as a information. And you have seen nowadays, I am observing, and in our companies we are doing is something called as a data scientist in supply chain, because supply chain itself is generating so much of data. If there is a specialist, it can really help to kind of filter in the leaders or the other decision maker use it. So for me, it is the evolution which is happening.
Great. I think, yeah, so we in modern time, we get drowned in data, drowned. So much data is there, right?
Correct.
So my next question, healthcare and life sciences supply chain demand very high level of precision, compliance, and responsiveness. How can AI and analytics help improve resilience and patient-centric supply chain operations?
I mean, it's interesting one. And if you see, and if you really start a supply chain as a point, when I see, let's say R&D, which also becomes part of the supply chain, clinical trial, which demands really very precise data and use of data from a you real implementation, because clinical trial when it happens, when the R&D when it happens, because it requires really to be measured into milligrams, grams, and as a person, as a team, which have to make sure that everything is perfect. Because when you test, when you really do a clinical trials, these are all has to be perfected. So there the data and AI is really helping in terms of building that precision, overall using that analytics to tool. So this piece is, getting matured faster than a, you can say, downstream supply chain. Now, next will be, let's say, core production. Then comes the storage, and then comes the distribution piece. If you see the whole spectrum of the supply chain in our case, or in this industry, it is ultimately has to be centered around patient data, to the focusing on the planning, distribution, and warehousing. So if you have visibility of your secondary tertiary data, you have better planning, you have better forecasting, and then same way you can have an optimum warehousing as well for your requirement. So in my case, in my previous organization, in now also, we have extensively went into that. There were challenges which supply chain team has done to the commercial team. What is the real demand? The fundamental question. What is that? Is it what the orders you are, getting put by a distributor or a hospital or XYZ, or it is really consumed by the end customer? And we really challenge the status quo that let us define what is the real demand. Let's say in our sector, we call the prescription is the real demand. Unless doctor writes, nothing is there. Let's say in retail and FMCG, unless that Kirana store, or probably the now new age, we have stores like a modern retail, unless they place the order, there is no demand. So ultimately, how we are using the visibility of the AI or tools of AI and analytics through platforms of technology, through track and trace kind of a mechanism, which is now well accepted as an organization. So this is how AI or analytics are helping to make the right inventory, right availability of the products to all the patients and consumers, basically. And ultimately, yes, then it leads to the sustainability as a goal in the whole way through this mechanism.
Thank you so much. My next question is about the leadership challenges when organizations accelerate digital transformation. What are the biggest leadership challenges in managing people through technological changes? I mean, I think people have been more difficult to manage than technology. So what are the challenges do you anticipate?
I mean, the second question which we discussed is overcoming fear. This is the fundamental. As we adapt, and I have seen in my case, when we were implementing online order platform or we were implementing secondary, tertiary visibility, there were doubts, there were questions, but I feel as a leader, if you explain why of any initiative, it solves most of the problems. So as a leader, and that's what the answer is, that technology, AI, all this tool, but still human intuition, human judgment, strategic trade-off is still human. So if I explain why of everything, I think it will solve most of the problem. And that's what I have done in my career. I have seen many successful experiments using that as it. And then next step comes breaking the silo. When you explain why, when you have multifunctional situation of any initiative or any experiment, or you can say adoption, you have to break the silo, you have to break the function, and then you have to define the data has to be loud, data has to be transformed for the right way. And that's what as a leader we do. And how you do is obviously train, explain why, upgrade them, give them a platform through organizations like yours or in-house or any other forum which is needed. So as a leader, for me, it is always invest in the training, upskilling, clarify why, remove that fear, and break the silos.
Thank you so much. So I think many organizations invest in technologies, but struggle with implementation and adoption. So what common mistakes organizations should avoid while deploying AI and automation initiatives?
Partly I've answered in previously that if you don't explain why, there are chances of failure. Okay, so explain that what is all about. If you don't, that is one of the mistake you do in any new projects, any new initiative. And even before that, when you decide, my habit is differentiate between good to have and must to have. Be it as leader, be it a function, whether it is just a sake of it is a fad or it is a new wave which is happening and we want to kind of try and ride off it, or it is a must requirement. Let's say, I mean, if I have to take a real life example, now we have ChatGPT, now we have something called as a co-pilot. There is a need in currently, let's say I'm into now, I have moved into my industry, as you see, from a typical operations to now sales role or strategy role, where I really need to use a lot of my thoughts. And if I say, okay, Copilot is a tool which is fantastic in a way, or ChatGPT is a tool which is fantastic in a way, helps you to probably summarize a lot of what I need as a leader, because I don't have time to go all around and a lot of pages of reports. It is helping me, and that's why probably learning that will be a must to be for myself, or probably those who are needing that. And then once it is accepted at the top, it has to percolate down in the similar way with the real examples. Not that, okay, you do it, I will observe it. I am also doing along with you. That change management is there, and you give that freedom has to be there from top to bottom for that implementation. And last but not least, the training, which is must to avoid mistakes, basically.
Right, absolutely right. So we have to learn new skills and new trainings and not sit on the edge and keep observing. That can critically lead. So I would like to answer, ask the same question again, how important it is to upskill and continuous learn in this today's age of AI-driven supply chain. What can what steps my audience can take to remain relevant? Are there any specific steps that like you said, ChatGPT, or maybe let's say.
Okay. I think in our whole last 50 minutes of conversation, we have been emphasizing this. And now with so many things around you, erstwhile day, probably we have a physical courses to go or physical institution to go and learn something or actual training to be done. Now we have so many things. We have our mobile has become a computer for that matter. Our mobile has become our office for that matter. We have online courses available, for example. You can do sitting at your home. We have community. Various communities are there. Like one of is this here where we are having conversation, and I'm happy that at least there are roughly 20-25 people who have joined in this, and I'm sure the ripples will go ahead and more to come probably. So more and more such you can say events or a tool we have at our disposal, which must be used, and more the participation the better, for everyone to get a benefit out of it, or learn out of it. Probably if even one or two can get inspired through this conversation, that would be great success in that way, and then it should percolate down. So and yes, ultimately it's, as I said, it's all human. Unless you should have that curiosity to go towards that. There are avenues which are available right now, much more than it were available 5, 10, 15 years back, to learn, to grow in your knowledge.
Right. So asking about a specific question, very specific. If you look at till about very near future, let's say till 2030, can you forecast some major trend or disruption that will redefine supply chain logistics, human machine collaboration globally or in India?
This is my view, and there are a lot of thoughts are available, and part of this, even our organization is one of the front runner or forerunner in kind of predicting trends, and you can say what is going to happen. So I would advise audience to go and check what we call as a DHL trend radar also, which predicts the future of technology, future of supply chain, and how both will marry. So it is available as a public information, and you can use that. But coming back to your specific question, I see it is happening, and it will be accepted. Future is a symbiotic operation. So as we said in part of our conversation, can warehouse be humanless? Possibly yes, but still there will be humans to monitor and observe that. Correct. Somebody will still have to make sure an analysis is done, its outcomes are measured, it is improvised if things are not right. So that way, the complex task, or rather logical tasks, will be still mechanized or machine, but the complex tasks like problem solving, decision making will still be human. And if you still use, probably we are talking now as a pilot, but drones will be you will see keep drones flying all around us in future, and there will be new set of you can say system will be coming up in terms of delivery in this space, which is coming up. There are digital twinnings which are becoming more and more real from your supply chain orchestration, as we call. And the last but not least is how the green logistics can be part of your future trends, which is very crucial. And organizations like us, and as I said, both service taker and service giver are working towards a few of this. There can be many more, but this is what I thought of quickly.
Yeah. So actually, I think going to your personal experience and I would say your career, if you had to go back, let's say many years back and restart your career, knowing today's AI era, digital transformation, what would you do differently? Would you do the same engineering? Would you do the same MBA? Would you do what would you do differently?
First of all, to be honest, I think I wish we can rewind. and I would really like to go back to childhood. No complexity. But on a serious note, uh, I think I will still stick to some of the career choices because I see directly impacting. Because my career was into, let's say, pharma, into supply chain, where I felt contributing something to the lives of patient for a betterment of their lives, through this. So in that sense, I would still see that way, but from using tools and technology available, probably I would still use, I was more of a right brain person rather than a left brain. So I would still use that if I can go back and use more of my left brain. Let's say, and in a very lighter note, probably I could have used Excel much more better to start with. But nowadays we have a lot of tools. I'm sure the new generation is much smarter than probably me and your and many of here, or I don't know, they are also part of this, that I would like to invest, uh, challenge few status quo rather than accepting it. And can the technology help to challenge that status quo? Basically, I would do that way, rather than just moving into the direction. I think many of the youngster I see, and I'm kind of mentoring few of them, they are really challenging some of the things, which is good, and I'm also learning in it. Can you do it this way? Can it be done that way? Probably there are better ways to do it. So I would challenge status quo rather than just moving into the task or the problems or situations.
Great. So, from your experience knowing today's professionals, what advice you have for them to build their career in today's AI-enabled supply chain environment? What can they do in terms of training, education, or whatever? Becoming a member, listening, whatever, reading, whatever. What should they do?
I mean, I would advise first, go back to your fundamentals. I mean, make sure that in any topic or area, uh, you go into the kind of root of it or foundation of it. Like, have you think through it? Have you thought through it? Or it is just a sake of using it? So for me, it's first of all, then going back to the fundamentals, whether it is a fundamental of business. I need to know, if I'm in organization, ultimately what they are doing. I'm just not doing my job. I'm somewhere contributing either to society, either to for a larger cause through that organization. So am I understanding that fundamentally? Am I understanding relations around me? Am I understanding people around me, basically? And then use tech or available tools as your, you can say, strength, or probably to upgrade your, uh, you can say, chances of success, so to say, through adaptation, through learning, for me. So I would suggest still go back to that fundamental, understand, question status quo, challenge, adapt, learn, and then kind of experiment, pilot, try out with it. And yes, you have to do the chance. Like in my current situation or in my past, we really do a lot of exploration into uncharted path with a thought through process. Sometimes it is just exploration, but you learn on the way. Sometimes that exploration will lead to some discovery. And sometimes really that exploration can lead to invention, so to say. So that's what I have taken my journey in this career, and still a long way to go. Or it's always more you know about your ignorance. So it's like that. And be on the ground. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been very exciting. Very little time left, so I will
Yeah, we are already
keep it
crossed an
open
hour.
for questions. People have some questions, so let them. So Nistush, can you summarize the
Yes.
questions and check? So thank you so much, Hiren.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. And excellent. What a session. I mean, what a start to the season 6. Some really amazing examples, on ground realities. And I mean, the AI literally seems like a very interesting topic to everyone because the questions are a lot, and I see really interesting questions out there. So we are going to try and cover as much as possible. But in the interest of time, I will take one question from one person as much as possible. So the first is one from Vineet. What challenges do pharma companies face while implementing AI in logistics?
Uh, Hi, Vineet. Thanks for the question. Uh, See, again, there is a fear. Okay, fear, and if I really use a real life example, let's say I have a tool which gives me a visibility of your secondary, tertiary inventory, and I can really use to plan my inventory, but can it be accepted? So as I said, they explain why, mitigate that fear. Ultimately, if there is a real demand will come. So the implementation of AI is always whether AI will expose a different part. So that is one piece of it. Second piece, you come into, let's say, hardcore warehousing in our area, where in pharma particularly, we still have to be very conscious in terms of batch control, in terms of compliances, in terms of ensuring the FDA norms or delivery norms, whether AI has the capability to understand those. If not, then still probably go baby step. If yes, then go a big bang. So for me, understanding, as I said in my previous conversation, whether it is good to have, must to have, and it has a real fundamental value to your situation. Like in our case, for example, if the company is huge and there are thousands of customers, can AI use just to kind of analyze the customer data, be it are they really having a valid drug license, for example? This need not to be human activity. It can be done by AI, for example, and let that be known to your team. Okay, if somebody is just doing manual work for years together, there are tools available, mechanical tools or mechanical exercise to check hygiene, check the data integrity, check the compliances, can be done by AI, and then that's what you have to explain. Either upgrade them to that level or this. So there are multiple such function, and then you come to the transportation piece. We have a real-time visibilities. We want a real-time data. Sometimes technology itself has their bottleneck. Unless you make sure that it is really unbroken technology, then you go for implementation. So these are some of the quick my views on this area. And every organization, every leader will kind of adapt as per the organizational situation.
Great. So that absolutely would be the right approach. And then just to follow up on that, I have a question from Mr. Sanjay Kadam, saying that is in the current situations, in the current difficult situations, if I have to say, and the logistical uncertainties that we have, is the investment in AI truly viable for a small and a medium-sized organization?
Again, as I said, one size fit does not. One size fit approach is not there. Depending your size of organization and type of technology you can implement. Like I have seen, let's say if I take one classic example of companies like us, and let's say take a classic example in our sector, company who is a startup, okay, or one company who is trying from a traditional business model to a upgraded business model. Let us take a service provider side, and then maybe we can talk about quickly about a manufacturing side or a product side. Basically, there are tools and technology available at a different level of your pricing, cost, and security, and you have option to choose as per your need. So I still feel there are available. Again, as I said, define first good to have and must to have for your organization, and then go for it. But I have seen even small organization using a very smart technology, and we have a huge startup ecosystem. We have a huge base. At least we talk about India. Probably the same technology or same requirement, you can have 3 price points. depending on the type of outcomes you want to define for yourself. Somebody wants really premium, high value, high cost, but fully secure outcome for your requirement. But then there can be a little more compromise. You are okay. You go for a similar outcome with a lesser, you can say, protocols. And also for me, there are, to answer your question, it is viability depending on the scale, size, the organization's appetite for the making it to the level of a premiumization is available. Okay, like the same technology or same kind of tools in AI. Let's say you go for a suite which, for example, companies like us use, where probably high premium, but high premium is because of high secure network, high secure outcome, high ensuring the continuity of the outcome of that. But there are some other which are available at a low cost, but there is no guarantee of security. There is no guarantee of you can say continuity, but still they are using it because overall ecosystem is helping that way. So yeah, there are a lot of, at least now you have options to evaluate. You have you can say the supply side is more than the demand side most of the time.
Great. So I think being in the small and medium-sized industry ourselves, it's always
Correct.
Judge yourself and then see. There's not a straight yes and no to that, probably. All right. So last couple of questions. One is about what are the, this is from Mr. Premal. What are the kind of AI certifications we should do in supply chain?
I mean, there are a lot more. I mean, I honestly, if you Google out, there are a lot, and probably Sir itself might be giving quite a few in this space. And I have learned in my early career also the organizations like Apex or organizations which are giving various certificates. Like, again, I'm not a master or subject. What you want to learn? Okay, that will define your and I'm sure you will find someone offering, some very good organization offering you that for me. So I don't have a straight answer, to be honest. For me, for example, I wanted to learn more about supply chain. I have an option learning from IIM. I have option learning from IIT, for example. And I have options of ISB, for example. You know, at the same time, there are other courses, as Nistyu says, that there are no one size fits all. You will find your calling in right way. But yes, you have to define for you first.
Very quickly, I'm just gonna because someone has asked this question, I am bound to answer that. KnoWerX is very soon coming up with a AI in supply chain. It's AI leadership through for supply chain management. There's a certification very soon coming up, so keep an eye on the LinkedIn pages. Probably within a month, you'll see the first look of it. So, but there are a lot other certifications too, because we are in that space. We can very well vouch it. The only thing is what we feel, and as you know, everyone, even the Hiren spoke about it. AI is not that matured. It's not everywhere. How it is presented in what form is very judgmental. So you may choose what you want to go for, but yeah, there are certifications, there are courses coming in, and you can find one soon from KnoWerX also. All right. So the last question, I think there are actually many questions more, and I'm sorry to the audience.
Yeah, even I have to little tight situation. We already overshoot, but I wish, maybe we can take one more.
Yeah, asked multiple, so I'm taking one question. Which supply chain pain points today offer the highest ROI potential through AI adoption? I really like this question.
I think warehouse management, if I have to say, and I have seen that happening right now in organization like me, where we have a huge operation managing very complex operation we are managing, and I see there is, and we are keep on reinventing into this space for now. Just quick answer, because there is a lot more. Probably I keep on going, but just to be specific about it, I just limited myself to this. But happy if somebody wants
Yes,
to
I've shared
connect with me,
LinkedIn
people can
profile.
connect with me on LinkedIn or I think happy to get engaged.
Yeah, so I've shared the profile links of the speakers. Audience, please feel free to connect with them. And thank you so much, Mr. Ravindra, Mr. Hiren, for taking out time and conducting
Thank
the
you.
show. It was really wonderful. I'm sure the audience learned a lot today, and will be looking forward to implementing a lot in the real life too.
My pleasure,
My
and
pleasure. My pleasure.
thank you. And I wish you do it more such programs. Look to it, and probably in more in terms of a panel discussion where you have two different views or thoughts which can help a larger population.
Definitely. Thank you for that suggestion. And you'll
you.
see a panel discussion coming up in season 6 in one of the episodes. So
Happy
thank
to
you,
be part
audience.
of that also.
Stay
Thank
tuned.
you.
Stay tuned to the LinkedIn and YouTube channels, and have a great weekend ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Same
much.
to you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mr. Ravindra.
Thank you.
Nice
Bye-bye.
to
Bye-bye.
engage. Bye. Take care.